This one comes to us from the Friendly Atheist blog at pathos.com, and it's about the Freedom from Religion Foundation taking the next big step towards giving religious leaders a huge unconstitutional tax break. They're going to stop it, actually. I'm sorry, the other way around. They're going to stop the government from giving religious leaders a tax break. This particular first case got everyone's attention last October when the FFRF won a major court decision when U.S. District Judge Barbara B. Crabb, great name there, agreed that the parsonage exemption is illegal.
What?
So that's the loophole that allows ministers to deduct the cost of rent of their church-owned houses from their taxable income.
She's a crab leg. She goes snip, snip, snip.
Yep. I love me money, money. Christianity Today says that 84% of senior pastors receive this exemption, and it's worth about $20,000 to $38,000 on top of their base salary that we are paying out of our taxes. That's just right there.
Yeah.
It's a major perk, they say, that also benefits megachurch pastors who live in mansions. Because they get to take parsonages for that. But the problem is that atheist leaders can't get access to the same benefits.
Right.
So rather than expanding the definition of minister of the gospel, in quotes there, in the law to exclude to include atheists, which would make no sense.
No, because that doesn't work for us. No.
Crabb ruled that the law itself was unconstitutional because of the preferential treatment it gave to religious leaders.
Get him, Crabb! Get him!
And so when she made her ruling, it didn't suddenly go into effect. You would have heard all of the fucking whinging and whining if it did.
So much.
Yeah.
Whinging. Good British word there.
I put the whinging in there. He just said whining.
I know you
whinging.
did. I know you used the whinging.
Whinging. Little whinging. What is it? Number 4, Privet Drive. Little whinging. Sorry. Crabb said that she wanted to hear back from all sides as to how they wanted to proceed, knowing full well that the government would file an appeal. And that's exactly what they did. So then she issued another ruling on the matter. And Crabb did 2 seemingly contradictory things with that update, though both were technically within her rights. She said that her ruling would now go into effect, and the IRS could no longer give religious leaders a housing tax break. But she added that she was putting a halt on her own ruling until 6 months after any possible decision had been made regarding an appeal. If the government did nothing and the window to file an appeal expired, then the ruling would go into effect in 6 months. If the government appealed and the FFRF won again, then the ruling would go into effect 6 months after that. But at least the wheels were in motion, it says here.
Yeah, no, I honestly, judicially, that sounds pretty fair to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty big judicial decision. Oh my God, that's a lot of judicial decision. And I think a bit of a delay is fair. I just do, especially because that there are going to be churches.
Thing.
Yeah, churches are going to have to adapt.
They would have to. Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be rewritten for that.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair.
Oh God, why are you guys showing so much love towards the Muslim? Oh wait, Christian. Every religious parsonage here. Wait.
Yeah, sorry. Like, I would rather us just kind of deal with things, like treat people like people. Like, come on, we can give them 6 months to catch up. Like,
yeah. So that brings us to our latest update. It says here, as you might have guessed, the government appealed the ruling within the time window, and yesterday, the FFRF replied with its own response. Now the case will land in the hands of judges. It's worth noting that all of this happened in 2014 as well, but the appeals court dismissed the entire case due to standing. They said that the FFRF needed to apply for the tax break and then get rejected before they could file the lawsuit over this issue.
That's bizarre. All right.
That must have been before Andrew Seidel. That must have been before he was in there with it, because it seems like he would know that already. They hadn't done so in 2014, therefore the case was dismissed on that technicality. However, for the current lawsuit, the FFRF did do that. This case won't be dismissed on standing, it'll be decided on the merits, and the FFRF made it clear in that brief.
Nice.
The brief takes a dig at numerous Friends of the Courts briefs filed against the FFRF, representing outraged ministers and denominations as varied as Unitarian Universalists, Jewish, Muslim, mainstream Protestant, evangelical Christian groups, and some 8,000 individuals.
Poor rich.
They mad.
They are.
So the brief here, in quotes, it says, The silence of the amici is particularly noteworthy, as none even suggests that expanding the cash housing allowance exemption to non-clergy might be fair. They confirm that the value of exemption while seeking to confine it to themselves. So none of them said, hey, well, we'll have atheists in there, or we'll have, Satanists, or we'll have Pastafarians, we'll allow them to take the parsonage.
Of course.
Which everybody's going to become a fucking minister of dudism at that point, which you would have to do. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I will get my mom registered as a minister so fast on this house.
Mm-hmm. And so instead of just saying, hey, we'll include everybody in this stuff, they're saying, no, nobody gets to tell us what we get to do or not. So they just kind of fuck themselves a little bit on that one.
A little bit.
We decided not to bake cake for that person. We're not baking cake for anybody.
Exactly. So the Seventh Circuit in 2014 essentially gave us a roadmap to follow in succeeding our challenge, says Barker and Gaylor. I love those two. We have proved our injury and the discrimination involved, and after the IRS denied our housing allowance refund for our 2012 taxes. Now we look forward to the appeals court deciding our challenge on its merits. So Hemant distills it down here at the very end. He says, if the FFRF wins, it would be an arrow through the heart of a religious privilege. That's why conservative groups are desperate to keep the illegal law in place.
Mm-hmm.
But for the time being, religious leaders are officially without the perk of writing off their houses on their taxes. So right now they can't do it. So that's
shit. That's huge. So, wow.
And it'll stay that way until they win this appeal. So yay.
Brava. Beautifully done. Excellent. That's gorgeous. Well done.
Very.
And thank you, Justice Crab, for the or Judge Crab.
Justice Crab.
Snip.
Justice Crab.
I keep thinking Zoidberg.
The crab of justice. The crab of justice has snapped his claws.
Her claws.
I can't do a decent Zoidberg. I wish I could.
Wait, not Zoidberg? That's terrible.
Go get me a sandwich.